Assalamualaikum Najib.
Salam.
Hey, how are you? Lama tak jumpa.
Very good, very good. Thanks for coming to my office, Haji.
Yeah, it's good. It's quite nice area. Nice pantry. I mean, to meet you. All this nice place.
Thank you.
So, how's you been doing so far?
It's been good. Obviously challenging with COVID, but alhamdulillah the business is growing, and I think this is the time for technology businesses to grow.
Yeah, you're right. And we have been not traveling for quite some time. Wow, I miss that traveling. If in the plane, where do you like to sit?
So, since we have a plane in front of us, I like to sit usually near the window. And not just any window, the window which is above the wing of the airplane.
Any reason for that?
I suppose it's quite nostalgic for me because much of the wing of the airplane Strand has been involved with for many different aircraft. So this is one of them, the A380 that Airbus manufactures. So this is now decommissioned already as an aircraft, but we were involved with the first variant of this aircraft. They call the entry into service, the EIS aircraft.
I do not know that Malaysian company did that. I always thought this maybe part of Boeing, part of people in the US or in Europe, they're doing this.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
you're saying that Strand is doing that?
Yeah, so we were doing that since 2006 when I set up the company here and hired my first 4 Malaysian engineers. I had been working before that 10 years in the United Kingdom, and while I was there, I was trained by a lot of experts. When I came here, I started training the engineers, and then I grew that company up to about 100 people.
So my guess is you are aeronautical engineer?
I'm an aerospace engineer, so slightly different.
What's
so
the difference
aeronautical is only in the Earth's atmosphere.
Oh.
Aerospace includes the space as well, which is where there is no atmosphere. It's outside of it's in a vacuum.
So I can say sometime you will be doing something like SpaceX too?
I think we're already involved with some things like that. We
That's
have
great.
done satellite structural design in the past. But now industries are beginning to merge, right? So you see the space, the aerospace, telecommunication industries, all of these are becoming merged industries.
All converge in the technologies.
Yes, yes, Ajay.
Okay, go back a bit, You're talking about all this, but how make you inspired to set up such a company? Because, I'm an engineer.
Yes.
Of course, I'm engineer now, I'm doing investment, but I changed it. But you, from the engineer, going to entrepreneurship, something that
Right.
not easy, I guess.
I suppose sometimes it's about luck and circumstance. Okay, so actually, originally I wanted to be an architect.
Wow.
That's when I was because I'm a creative person. So as a child, I used to draw a lot. But I also did a lot of Lego and FX. So I have an engineering and a creative side to me. So when I asked what would combine the two, originally people said it would be architecture. But as I matured into A-levels and I started talking to more people, I discovered the aerospace industry, which is actually a very creative but highly technical industry, and I thought these two marry very well, right?
I see.
So I fell into that. Then in 2002, 2004, but back then 2002, 2003, I was probably 30 years old. There was an opportunity because the company I was with, I had helped grow that company from what was a 6-man company in the UK.
You mean in UK?
In the UK, yeah. It was a 6-man company when I joined. I was the 6th person that was hired. By that time it was already nearly 40 people. So I was the general manager. So I started as an employee, first graduate employee. And then at the end of it, which I think 6-7 years later, I became the general manager of the company. And it was a 40-man company.
40, from
40
6
men.
to 40.
640. And they were all very experienced European engineers. I was the youngest guy there. And what happened was that there was an opportunity for Airbus to outsource outside of Europe. So I spoke to the CEO. I said, maybe we can try. There are a lot of unemployed Malaysians. And that's how I became the first engineering services company in Malaysia that had a direct contract with Airbus.
I see.
Yeah.
But when you start in Malaysia, you start as Aerospace, as Strand Malaysia, Strand Berhad, or you straight away your own company?
Strand Malaysia straight away first, but that meant that I was a minority shareholder. Eventually, I bought over the shares of the UK company, which is actually a man called Tony Bedborough. It's a family-owned company, a personal-owned company that he had grown with me, and I suppose he's almost a father figure. So I gave him his retirement, and I set up and grew this company, which then became much bigger than the UK company.
How you feel, entrepreneurship? What is about the entrepreneurship that you? I think I can say that maybe 2000, mid 2000 until now, you are an entrepreneur.
Yes.
I work with a lot of entrepreneurs. I know it's not easy task,
correct.
but you have been doing this.
I think there was a bit of as I was working in the UK, I sat like this. It was a small table. The boss was one side of the table, and I was at the other side. So I was already an apprentice entrepreneur because he was an entrepreneur.
I see.
Right. So every phone call that he would make, every deal, I would be hearing, and he would be teaching me.
Wow.
So when I had the opportunity, and I took my first entrepreneurial salary, that means I myself paid myself. That was a real turning point, because then I realized that everybody else down the line I have to pay. So that I think the feeling is quite different. Your mindset changes quite tremendously. But because I had been mentored for so long, I suppose all the memories kick in, and immediately I was able to start the process.
So how you find entrepreneurship in Malaysia?
I was lucky because I didn't start as an entrepreneur in Malaysia. I started up as an entrepreneur having an office in Malaysia.
I see.
But all my business came from Europe, right?
So
Initially, yeah. So I was never really subject to what is the challenges of a Malaysian techno entrepreneur trying to sell to the Malaysian market. I sold to a market that was already developed, and then I helped evolve that market.
But because you are not into the challenges of setting up the business in Malaysia, but right now challenges for you, I think entrepreneurship that really have to come up with the products, the quality that meet the international standard, not just Malaysian market. You don't look at Malaysian market at that time, I think.
Yeah, correct.
So I think is quite a challenge for you.
It is, and it's more people development challenge.
Yes, I understand. Being an entrepreneur is already a challenge, but to build a technology-based company, I think is a bigger challenge.
Yep.
And you not only to meet the design, the quality, and the market expectation of international players.
Yes.
And looking at this plane right now, I do not know how you manage to design and meet the international standard. Maybe you want to elaborate a bit about that.
Why don't we do this? Why don't we go up to my office, and I'll show you a more interesting project that we've done, something a little bit more on the dark side.
Let's go to the dark world.
Let's go. Haji, welcome to the office.
Thank you, Naguib. Quite a nice office.
Thank you. Please make yourself comfortable.
Thank you.
So, Haji, this is the airplane I was talking about. Actually, when I look at it, it brings back a lot of memories.
Wow.
Back when I was in the UK, I used to spend a lot of time. This plane actually is manufactured partly in Bristol. And I used to go down there and then spend a lot of time with my friends and go mountain biking and a lot of other things. So yeah, it brings back a lot of memories.
Oh, now it can remind me that one of the things that you're doing is you like to play guitar.
Yes, yeah. So it's something which I picked up when I was young, but I never actually had the discipline. I think after I learned how to be an engineer, I have more discipline to learn the music, but I play a lot of rock music. And some of the songs that I play, a lot of high impact songs. Yeah,
when I was school, of course, I like to look at people play guitar, So one of my favorite band, of course, Led Zepp, So, and I grew up with those kind of metal, hard rock music, Quiet Riot and so on, So wow.
Yeah.
Now, I do not know that you are into that as well.
Yes, I was, and I am still, in fact. But I suppose that when I was in school, the bands were very different. So obviously the girls were all listening to New Kids on the Block.
I thought you were from St. John.
I was, yes. So I
Boys'
went
school.
to
How
school.
you said about the girls?
Oh, because across the road is the Convent Bukit Nanas. Yes,
I see.
but on our side, we were listening to Nirvana and all those bands. And I think in school, I was more extracurricular activities guy. So I think my grades were good enough.
Entrepreneurship is being ingrained into yourself, working with people. Because I really know, dealing with you, you really know how to work with people, how to motivate people, even to lead people. That's why I think you bring Strand to the new level, It's compared that, I think, as compared when you started in Malaysia, I think Strand is I think going to the next, a lot of things that you're doing,
Yeah, so I think I always tell my kids that sports actually has taught me a lot more about business than anything else. So team sports like hockey, where if you are too dictatorial and you try and push the team, you might get a weak team and then you won't score enough goals. But if you can motivate the team, then everybody is playing strong and the whole field is covered, then you can win the game. But when you play solo sports, I played squash as well, you must focus on beating yourself. You cannot be trying to challenge the opponent, because when you beat yourself, you get better and you improve. And if you're better than an opponent, you will naturally win. So I think all that comes into entrepreneurship today. So I think sports is a really great way of learning about building businesses.
So what else you do in your free time?
Today, when I have the chance, I paint. There are some paintings around the office here, which were done by myself. And I like to spend time with my children, walking outdoors and going into nature. I try to do a lot of cycling when I can, when I'm not too injured. But yeah, keep myself active and thinking about things which are apart from business, which actually helps make me a more rounded person when it comes to decision making.
I see. So now I've seen that you involved quite with a lot of at the ministry level as well, and working with certain try to promote aerospace in Malaysia. So how do you see that aerospace industry in Malaysia will grow?
I think aerospace globally it's evolving fast. So before it was all about Boeing and Airbus. Now you have Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos going to space. It's a very exciting time. If you watch Star Trek as a child and Star Wars as a child, I think, but all those programs were talking about what a utopian future might be, or in Star Wars case, a dystopian future. And I think the utopian future of Star Trek actually is where I see a lot of things going. And this is what I think aerospace technology is enabling us to explore new worlds, new economies, new technologies, which can then bring us to new kinds of markets.
Yeah, that's another thing I try to relate here, because when you go to aerospace industry, because everything have to be right, I think you are doing something in 4IR too now?
Yes, I am. But I think the best thing that I learned in aerospace, is that when I was working in France and in the UK, it is a very unpretentious industry. It's very much an industry about human beings. When people may say that it's all about computers and technology, actually no. You meet a lot of people, and it is a community in itself which prides itself in working together towards producing something which is extraordinary. So you find the character of the people from many nations that are needed to put together an airplane, and it's about us talking about pasta one day and talking about nasi lemak the other day, and getting to know each other is what really makes us able to work. And I found Malaysians really excel when they find themselves in that situation. They can really get a team working together very harmoniously.
So you feel that we have all the human talent in Malaysia, you're saying, isn't it? Because
yes.
I know one other thing is, I think what the challenge for a lot of entrepreneurship in Malaysia is to find the good talent that they can mold and to work with them and motivate them so they can be part of the bigger team.
Yes, and in the past that has been about some sort of hard skill, technical skill. But now I think because computers are doing a lot more of the engineering or the technical calculations, you still have to have very good technical
But you
engineers.
have to have good data analytics and so on.
You do. But this must be balanced with people with the ability to form relationships, people with the ability to collaborate with other countries, people from other geographies, not just Western as well. Now into the African nations, into the other Asian nations, Southeast Asian nations. This is a big strength of Malaysia today, and I think going forward, the future that I want to work with MTDC on is to tap into these growth markets where it's yet to be explored, and it's like Star Trek, go where no man has gone before.
Thanks, Najib, for today's chat. It's been quite some time. I didn't see you, but yeah, nice talking to you. And I think as the borders start to open, I think we start to travel. Hopefully, between MTDC and Strand, we can do a lot of things. And of course, we are doing our SCOE now at our UPM MTDC. And of course, we have a lot of other plans that we want to move forward. I think by working together, of course, we are not just providing funding, and you are not just looking at this area, but you're looking at other areas as well now, data analytics, 4IR and so on. I think, let's go and work something out.
Let's do it.
All right, thank you, Najib.
Thank you.